Alright, one of the cover card ride lines is here for set 12, so let's begin. Here's the starter, Deeplands Meldical. You don't have to run it, but I do recommend it just for the name Deeplands, as that's the archetype name. And now to the grade 1 wiki power, Deeplands Grezkane, which has a skill auto when rolled upon by Deeplands Jigen, the grade 2, search your deck for one call of the Deeplands, normal order, prefer the deck, reveal it and put it in your hand, of course shuffle deck. Typical grade 1 that just literally sets you up. In which before we go to the grade 2, we go to this normal order, Call of Deeplands, which is a grade 3 normal order, and you can also play from the drop zone. So you play it by soul blasting one and then retiring one of your rear guards, and then if your Vanguard is Rearguards, your grade 3, choose up to 2 cards with grade less than or equal to your Vanguard from the drop zone and call them to rear guard. And then your Vanguard gets plus 5 key power in the end turn. And then perform one of the following depending on the copies in the order zone. So you have none, you put this to the order zone, and then if you have at least one, bind this card, choose a Call of Deeplands from your order zone. The power increase from its count skill gets plus 5 key power into the end turn, aka the next skill. So this is overall pretty good for a set order, or technically it's a normal order that is also a set order. Lets you do 2 superior calls along with basically extra power. And that's just the first skill itself. The second skill is the order zone ability. If your opponent's Vanguard is at least grade 3, all your Deeplands placed from drop zone by the card ability from either this card or Rearguards gets plus 5k power. And on top of the other skill that gives another 5k, that's a 10k power buff overall. So yeah, -1 for a +2, technically a +3 because put this in the order zone and then some extra power. Too bad this can't be placed on the order zone by itself since technically it's not a set order, but it's a definite must play because it's one of the main cards of the deck. And now we continue off with the grade 2 Deeplands Jigen, which has a skill auto when rolled upon by a grade 3 Rearguards. Look at the top 7 cards of your deck, choose up to 2 cards from among them and put them to the drop zone. Of course, shuffle your deck. Typical ride line that just sets you up, and putting more cards in the drop zone for this deck is fine since you're gonna call them back. In which now we go to the grade 3 with 13 power Deeplands Rearguards, which has a skill act Vanguard once per turn, cost energy rush 2 to call a card from the drop zone. Very nice skill here, especially when you're using energy. But the second skill is auto Vanguard. At the end of battle, this unit attack costs Blast 1, retire 2 of your rear guards, choose a grade 3 Rearguards with a different card name from this one, and ride at a stand with a drive -2. And then that new card also gets the power and critical increase from all the trigger abilities they got this turn. Basically, in a way similar to basically Revel Dressing, but doing it from the drop zone, or maybe like Sacrifice Glass. You do the mid-battle superior riding, which also means that you get 1 additional attack with a drive -2, but it's very nice that you also get the power and critical increases from all your trigger abilities. So if anything, this is a setup grade 3 Vanguard, which means the main one is going to be the next one, which is even bigger undead fish, which is Deeplands Rearguards Athanasios, which is a grade 3 with 13 power, and the skill is auto. When placed on Vanguard by Deeplands Rearguards, cost Soul Blast 1, choose a Deeplands Rearguards from your drop zone and call it to rear guard, and then at the end of turn, put that unit as Vanguard as rest. And yes, you can Soul Blast the original copy that you have in Soul to call it, and then after that, Superior Ride that after. So already, the original form gives you this one as a Superior Ride mid-battle, giving you a 4th attack. This one on Superior Ride gives you the 5th attack by Superior calling the original grade 3. Thus being 5 attacks, although your Vanguard is driveless until you read the next skill where auto Vanguard when this card attacks if your opponent's Vanguard is at least grade 3, and this unit was placed from drop this turn, drive +1 in the end turn. So 2 Vanguard attacks with drive checks, even if it's locked to your opponent being at least a grade 3 for the second drive check, that's still pretty good. In which the last skill is Count Guardian, shield plus 5k, your Vanguard is at Deeplands. So basically, after reading this card, the whole strategy of this deck is literally ride your grade 3 and make sure that a copy of this is in the drop zone, so you can superior ride this in mid-battle, and then after that, mid-battle from this superior ride, superior calls the original form, and then end phase put that back to the Vanguard, thus giving you 5 attacks. I would say it's not really much to say here. It does still rely a bit on its support since you do need units, but I would say it is a pretty simple and fun playstyle. Especially, spoiler alert, this deck does use a bit of soul, so you can soul blast this back out to the drop zone and then re-superior ride this after. And now to the support, Deeplands Glang, which is a grade 1 wiki power, and the skill is count. If your Vanguard is Deeplands, this card gets all the following. Auto when placed from hand, look at top 3 cards of your deck to choose up to 1 card from one of them and discard it, and of course shuffle your deck. With the second section being auto when retired from rear guard from either player's card ability, cost Count Blast 1 to draw a card. I really like that it even involves your opponent's card ability. While not being completely necessary since you're going to be retiring it yourself anyway, I do like that extra option. But overall, it is a pretty decent card since it lets you set up the drop zone even further while also kind of giving you some retire fodder. It's just kind of unfortunate that it only gives you top 3 comparing to some cards that actually give you top 5 instead. In which now we go to Deeplands Jarnazak, which is a grade 2 with taking power in the skills. Act drop once per turn. If your order zone has calls of Deeplands, cost Soul Blast 1 to call this card to open rearguard. Drop zone recovery is very nice, especially for a deck that retires itself. With the second skill of auto rearguard, when this card attacks at least a grade 3 unit, if one of your units was retired by a card ability this turn, plus 5 key power in the battle. So while it's kind of strange that it's a big beater that can recover itself, it's kind of strange that technically you do want to just kill this for sacrifice fodder, but at the same time not, because it requires another sacrifice fodder to make it gain its power up. But regardless, a pretty good card because it can recover itself, and it's just, if you time this correctly, you could still make use of both skills. And into our last card, Deeplands Organdi, which is a grade 2 with taking power in the skills. Auto when placed on rearguard while your Vanguard is at Deeplands, cost either counterblast 1 or put a card from your hand to soul to draw a card, and then if your Vanguard is at least grade 3 plus 5 key power in turn. Nice that it could be used as an early game cycle that cannot be counterblast denied, and it's also nice that it's a way to fund soul, because the deck in a way does need it. With the second skill of Count Guardian, if your Vanguard is Deeplands, plus 5 key shield. So it's another one of these that just lets you cycle and plus extra shield. But the cycling does help, especially with the soul part. So I guess do run it for now. And then finally, here are some suggested cards from Bushiroad that will be good for the deck, along with the secret rare, which looks pretty awesome. And then we also got a Fire Regalis reprint, which is actually pretty awesome. Kind of surprised that it's actually very this soon as well. And next week once again for Dokkovan, this time Monster Strike again. Full week of Monster Strike. And so that's it for this new ride line of Deadlands. What do you guys think of it? Overall, it has an interesting design being zombie themed fish, and I really like that it kind of reminds me a bit of Rebel form plus a little bit of the drop zone superior ride aspect of certain decks, especially when it rides to a new form. And overall, it is actually kind of simple to play, and I have to say it is pretty decent as well, as it's a 5 attack deck, and it does have a lot of power to it thanks to the order card. Just kind of wish that the support cards are a little better. And also based on how they designed the base form, I do see a potential for an evolved form that actually stays a permanent form on the Vanguard. But that's just me. But on that, that's it for this, and see you all next time.